Hi everyone. In today's lesson, I have decided to teach the reflexive pronouns in English. It's only for those who want to become an English teacher or who want to improve their teaching skills in English. Those who won't understand the rules in English may watch the same lesson in the next video. So let's begin. What are the reflexive pronouns? First of all, let's get acquainted with the reflexive pronouns. Myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves. These are the reflexive pronouns that we are going to learn today. As you see, every person has its separate reflexive pronouns, so don't confuse their using. I want to add some spelling rules in this lesson about their writing. For example, sometimes test compilers want to perplex you and write, for example, his self or their selves. Of course, both of them are incorrect because the third person singular with the reflexive pronoun isn't himself, it is himself, or it isn't their selves, it is themselves. So before learning their using in sentences, please spell them correctly and don't let anyone to perplex you with wrong writing. So when we use the reflexive pronouns, we use the reflexive pronouns when the object is the same as the subject, especially after the verbs kill, prepare, hurt, defend, and others. For example, to kill, to defend, to hurt, to prepare, to enjoy, to amuse, to behave, to cut, and others. So we can add some other verbs here, for example, to deride, to introduce, to teach. And what is the role of the reflexive pronouns? As I stated before, in this situation, we use the reflexive pronoun to indicate that the subject and the object are the same person, For example, he defended himself. He defended himself. In this sentence, he is the subject of the sentence, himself is the object of the sentence. So they are the same person, Some other examples about this. The children introduced themselves. The children introduced themselves. Here, the subject of the sentence is the children. The object is themselves. So they are same. And as I stated before, every person has its own reflexive pronouns. So you can't use the children introduced myself. The children introduced ourselves. You can only use themselves. The third person in the plural with the word the children. As examples can be take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Look after yourself. From imperative sentences, we know that the imperative, most of the imperative sentences refer to the second person in singular and plural. In singular and plural. So you may ask, can we use yourselves in this sentence? Because we don't know whether this sentence refers to the singular person or plural person. Of course you can. So after the imperative sentences, you can use yourself or yourselves, because we don't know whether this sentence refers to the person in singular or plural. As examples, the cat licked itself all over. Here the subject is the cat, and we know that if we think about the idea, thing, animal, the pronoun of these nouns are it. So the reflexive pronoun of the cat is itself. Here also the subject and object are the same person. Let's go. In the first section, we learned that we use the reflexive pronoun when the subject and the object are the same. Let's talk about the preposition. I mean the reflexive pronoun after a preposition. Reflexive pronouns may be used as the object of a preposition. For example, she made a glass of juice for herself. Here, who made the juice, a glass of juice? She. For whom? For herself. Again, the subject and the object are the same, but here herself comes after a preposition, the preposition for. Another example, he was talking to himself. Here also the reflexive pronoun comes after the preposition to. He was talking to himself. Another, I looked at myself in the mirror. Here also the reflexive pronoun comes after preposition. You may ask, if the subject and object aren't the same person, what can we use in this situation? We can use the objective case of the pronoun. For example, he called me. He called me. Here the subject is he, but the object is me. So strengthen the idea of the reflexive pronoun in your mind, that the reflexive pronouns are used when we indicate that the subject and the object are the same person. Let's go. If we are talking about the preposition plus the reflexive pronouns, so how can we forget about the preposition by? Because when we use the reflexive pronouns after the preposition by, it means alone. So if we can take it as a formula, we can write this like that. By plus reflexive pronouns is equal alone. For example, she was by herself is equal alone. Or another example, a cough will usually get better by itself. Why itself? Because here the subject is non-human subject here. So let's continue. After one and the second section, let's look at the reflexive pronouns from the other side. So the reflexive pronouns are also used to emphasize the meaning of the sentence. We use them to emphasize the meaning of the sentence, and in these sentences we don't use them as the same object of the subject. It is only for emphasizing. For example, I must do my theory myself. I must do my theory myself. Here, myself is used to emphasize the meaning of the sentence. Another example, the children planted the trees themselves. Or another example, the manager himself couldn't solve the problem. The manager himself. As you see, in these sentences, the reflexive pronouns are used to emphasize the meaning. So don't forget this rule. In these sentences, you can leave out the reflexive pronouns and the meaning of the sentence will be same. For example, I must do my duty. The children planted the trees themselves. The manager couldn't solve the problem. And there is only a slightly change if you remove the reflexive pronouns from these sentences. And one point I would like to show you that the reflexive pronoun with the meaning emphasis can come at the beginning of the sentence or after the word it refers to. For example, here himself refers to the manager, and it can also be written directly after the word itself. In the end, I'd like to show you the other using of the reflexive pronoun. Here, there are some verbs that take the reflexive pronouns, but their meaning change slightly or completely. For example, these verbs are help, enjoy, find, see, behave. Let's look some other examples. For example, help yourself to some more cake. Help yourself. We know that the verb help means to give a hand or to assist someone. But in this sentence, help yourself means eat some more cake, have some more cake, help yourself to some more cake. In this sentence, help doesn't mean to assist. Or another example, behave yourself is equal well. Behave well. For example, behave yourself or you will be punished. Behave yourself or you will be punished. As example, they enjoyed themselves. They enjoyed themselves. In this sentence, they enjoyed themselves means they had a good time or they enjoyed what they did. And I think that this lesson was very useful for you. And with this lesson, I wanted to show you that not only reflexive pronouns or other matters, other problems can be taught in Azerbaijan by me, but also I can teach them in English. And it was the first time that I created this video in English for you. Thank you for your attention.